Welcome, ghouls, ghoulettes, and guesties to GonstFM Off Air, the official podcast companion to 66.6 GonstFM, the internet radio station dedicated to the band Ghost and the wider Gonst community. I'm Papa X.
And I'm Uncle Ghoul.
Happy Halloween, everybody. We are here with a different type of episode. We're breaking off of our Witch Images series, which we'll be back to next time you hear from us. However, today, we are going to be talking about our top 10 Ghost songs that you should be listening to on Halloween.
Halloween's my favorite time of the year, so this is super exciting to do a Halloween episode and get festive. And I always have Ghost in my playlist, so this was a great way of kind of tying together what I was already working on for my Halloween party.
Yeah, same here. And also, like, if anybody is here and you attended this past weekend's Night of the Witch 2 broadcast on Station Head, thank you very much for attending that. I know it was a long broadcast, but holy hell. Maybe you came away with some new favorites or some old classics that you were just like, I forgot about this. We're not going to be talking about the non-Ghost songs that were played, though. We're going to be talking strictly about Ghost. And whenever we say top 10, it's not just like our collective top 10. We each have our own top 10, and we're going to do a compare and contrast as we go. So Anthony does not know what I picked, and I don't know what Anthony has picked. But we both assume we've got a few of the same ones. We're just kind of curious as to which songs landed on what number on whose list. So we're gonna
get right into it.
Yeah, dude. I guess like we'll just start.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. So how we're gonna do it is we're gonna start at our number 10 because we've already ranked these like completely blind. By the way, like I said, we don't know who picked what, where it lands. So we're gonna be surprising each other going from 10 to 1. Now, I will preface this by saying I tried to be fair and at least pull something from every album because it would have been easy for both of us to just be like opus eponymous for the whole fucking list.
Yep. You could have just done first 3 albums and you're good, you know?
Yeah.
That'll be interesting because I was not successful at picking from every album. I definitely have a domination of some albums on there, but I think that'll help.
Yeah, same. So let's start with our number 10s, man. Like I want to hear what you chose for your number 10 on this list.
Okay, my number 10 might be shocking to some people. I put number 10 as Dance Macabre.
Oh shit. Okay, so that's not even on my list. That might shock some people.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that one was kind of like a pie in the sky one for me. I had to put it on there because one reason, my justification was that it's made its way on to so many Halloween playlists. When I go to Fright Fest, I hear Dance Macabre played a lot. And so it's a song that like does make me think of Halloween because I have fond memories of post-Prequel, especially, well, obviously, going to Fright Fest and hearing that, or even it's on my work Halloween playlist, like the one that we play during the day. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's a stretch to call it spooky in some ways, but those organs, they're spooky in the background. And it's a great, if you're at a Halloween party and you want to dance, it's a great spooky kind of song you could dance to with a great disco beat that like, I could just imagine, you know, people at a Halloween party dancing to it. So I have to put it on there.
Of course. I mean, and the music video kind of lends to that conversation piece as well.
Absolutely. And it's just one of those songs that like, it does a great job of, we've talked a bunch of times about how Ghost has leaned into that hair metal vibe, but also still having that kind of spooky vibe with the organs and the chorus, you know, and some of the synth work going on and stuff. And of course, the Bewitch You, you know,
yeah.
And just, I always think of like, you know, In the Moonlight reminds me of a Halloween with a full Hallows Eve moon and everything. I can just see it being, you know, it kind of fits that kind of cheesy 80s spooky vibe.
Yeah. The Carpenter Brute remix cover, like art is really a good prime example.
And of course, as you mentioned, the music video and just, I don't know. It's a fun song that's spooky and danceable. And like, you always want to have people having fun and dancing at your Halloween party. You know, it could be essential.
Yeah. So my number 10 is Marks of the Evil One.
Ooh, that's not on mine.
Marks of the, so I was going to say,
I didn't think of that.
It's the only song on, now I know people will be like, oh man, no, Lacrima. No, dude, Lacrima to me is the ultimate like breakup, fuck you song. This Marks of the Evil One is like, it's the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, dude. Come on. It's the most, in my opinion, is the most satanic sounding song on Skeletor. And I feel like it doesn't need to be high on the list, but it needs to be on the list because we've discussed this before on our Skeletor episodes where this is one of the songs that sounds like it could have been on Prequel. You know, so I guess it kind of goes with your number 10 being Dance Macabre. It's like, okay, this one is kind of Prequel adjacent. But I feel like it works, you know, especially on a Halloween playlist. It's spooky. Like to me, the song has like a lot of spooky elements to it, and then like the guitar and just just everything about it, the vibe of it, that's what I was going for too. I should say, like with my list that I was picking out, it wasn't even just like, oh, what specific instruments make it sound this way, but I was also going for vibes. And this song just leapt out at me completely.
That's a perfect choice, and I can't believe I didn't think of that. But thinking of it, I'll, for transparency's sake, I have nothing off of Skeleton on mine, but I'll have to give honorable mentions to a couple of tracks because now that I think about it, there's a couple more I could have thrown on there. Like I think, well, I won't. In case, do you have any more on yours from Skeleton?
No, that's the only one from Skeleton, actually.
Cool. I would also say, as an honorable mention, while we're talking about it, I would say Umbra would be a good one too.
Sure.
Because of the shadow lyricism and some of the more lyrical parts of it. I think that would be another good one that maybe isn't necessarily Halloween vibes, but I feel like at the same time, I'm thinking of this too as like if I'm at a Halloween party, am I going to vibe to this and am I going to feel like I'm in the spirit? And I feel like just kind of the slow seductiveness of that and kind of minor chords make me feel like that's a good one too.
I can see that. So what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Pro Memoria.
That's not even on my list either, but that was one. It wasn't an honorable mention, but it was one that I was like kind of toiling with whenever I was creating my list. And I was sitting there like, it's kind of ballady. I think that was the only one that kind of like, or the only factor that really kept me from saying, let's put it on here.
It's the theatricalness to me. It's the vaudeville, like, theaterness of it that I don't know how well it would work at like a Halloween party necessarily, but unless people are coming into a Halloween party and you have fog rolling and like, I can picture it in my head, a punch bowl, whatever. There's something grand and epic about it that just reminds me of something that would be in like a musical about vampires or like, I don't know, horror musical, like, I don't know, Phantom of the Opera type. It's Sweeney Todd, you know what I mean? Like it's like very theatrical and
it's very Rocky Horror.
Yes, there you go. It's that opening stab too, or like that opening vamp that I just could see, like people entering Halloween parties slowly to low lying fog and orange lighting. So that was my justification for putting that one at my number 9.
That makes sense.
And then of course just the lyrics. It's it kind of to me in some ways sums up a lot of the themes of Halloween. Well, Halloween traditionally isn't always about death, but there is that reminder of memento mori, you will die, eventually, like maybe it's not such a scary bad thing. It will happen to all of us, and we can celebrate it and celebrate those who have passed,
Yeah.
In a lot of cultures in Halloween. So it does kind of fit to me lyrically as well. But I will give you credit on it not being on there too is that to its detriment, it doesn't really have a spooky vibe in the second half. I think the intro is really foreboding and spooky, but then it gets very Elton John-esque.
Yeah.
Which might kind of take it down. But I do think the intro alone is strong enough for me to put it somewhere on my list.
Absolutely. My number 9 is Call Me Little Sunshine.
Great one.
I think that one speaks for itself. It's, the Call Me Mephistopheles. Like that song is very literally, about the dark forces that are watching over you that you can call upon him if you need. I also think the song itself, for being as slow moving as it is, I've had this discussion. You and I have had this discussion.
Yeah,
is Call Me Little Sunshine a heavy song? You know what I mean? Like people have asked me this before. Do you think Call Me Little Sunshine is heavy? And I say yes and no. I think it is heavy riff wise. That that chorus, that dun 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 dun. That's
such a great.
That's
riff,
a fucking metal riff, dude. But lyrically speaking, along with the clean guitar playing that riff, that there's a very spooky vibe to it. Like that gives off the nighttime moonlit sky, bats flying in the air. Like that's what I hear whenever I hear that clean guitar, and that call out in the middle of the night. Like that's really like,
and the echo.
Yes, dude, that's so fucking awesome. It's not something that I would have put very high on my list. Like in fact, while I was, arranging all these songs, I was like, okay, this is absolutely the back half of the list, but it deserves to go on there nonetheless.
I agree. I think that's a great one. It's not on my list. It's another one that I'm thinking like I wish it was. In retrospect, but I'll give it an honorable mention.
Right
on. Because I didn't think of that one, but it does make like perfect sense.
Sure. I'm actually really glad that so far we have had ones where like, that's not on mine.
Well, see, I think that might be like we thought when we first gone with this that we'd have the same list or close to it, but I think that I have rehauled mine.
Yeah,
because I thought mine was predictable.
Yeah,
at the same
same.
time, and I wasn't sure if I was just like, that's too easy, So I wanted to kind of think outside the box a little.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Now, I will say that, I think for everybody out there listening, and for you and I, Anthony, like sitting here talking, I think maybe the front half of our list, like 5-1, might have some dead ringers in there, like for sure. But
I think there's a couple that are inescapable, maybe, but maybe not. Who knows? Like, I don't know.
True.
I tried to not think of it. I tried to and then put it out of, after I made multiple lists. I put it out of my mind and just said, what would I do if I'm making a Halloween party tomorrow? And not put too much thought into it, So like, I don't know. Like, there might be things that I'm just like, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Right. Yeah, because you gotta also understand, we're sitting here, like, even though not all of their catalog would be quote Halloween-esque, it's still like over 85 something songs to pick from.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. And we're only picking 10.
Yeah. So what's your number 8?
Death Knell.
Oh shit! I can't believe it's that low. Mine's okay. So I have Death Knell on mine too.
Is it?
Yeah, it's at number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's at number 4.
That's a good placement for it. I have no logic to why it's so low, other than, well, the reason it's so low for me is I think it fits so well for a Halloween playlist, but I feel like it's a song that people don't like. And I couldn't justify putting it higher, even though this is my personal rating. I wanted this list to be something that somewhat anyone could put on. And every time I mention that it's my favorite Ghost song in the entire catalog, as you know, everyone always comes and says, oh, I don't like that song. And so it's one of the ones where, for me, I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't add it.
And I think from my perspective, it was putting this list together was also like, if I'm going to suggest to somebody that has never heard Ghost before in their entire life, like, here's 10 songs. That was my mindset. It's like, okay, no, here's the order that I would put them in for that type of crowd. So like, I absolutely see where you're coming from.
Yeah. I'm glad we took 2 different approaches for this.
Yeah, me too. For me, number 4 on that one was absolutely because like it embodies to me everything about the spooky nature of Ghost. And, it's classic enough on their first album that it gives that, I'm literally walking into some like fucking murky ass, nasty, sweaty, like wet fucking castle. I don't know, like that's incense fog everywhere and just this real creepy, like Dracula type figure just in the distance, like hearing him sing that song through a long bricked hallway. I'm trying to set as good of a scene as I can.
Oh, I can see the scene you're setting.
It's awesome. My number 8 is actually Hunter's Moon.
Wow. Okay, you want to know something crazy? That's my 4.
It's fucking wild, man.
That's my 4.
I love this so much, actually.
Okay. This is great. This is better than I thought it was going to be.
Dude, how wild, man. Like they flopped. Right? Like the 2 songs that we both had, they flopped.
We brought them up. It's like, now I'm going to have to remember where we were in the list. It's like, all right, we're 4. Okay, cool.
Oh man, yeah, no, Hunter's Moon is it's very obvious, and it was written for Halloween Kills. Now, here's the question I do want to pose to you: which version of Hunter's Moon did you think on when you were making this? Because I was totally no bullshit. I was literally like choosing the film version for this one.
I have it as just written as Hunter's Moon, but I was definitely thinking of the film version.
Okay, cool.
I call it the definitive version.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I know it's a hot take. And I can't believe that's a hot take, but it's so good. Although I do miss the "I'm coming," but I do. There's something about just the atmosphericness and the drumming, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, this is the one with. It sucks too because we've had both of these drummers on our show before, and it's either fucking
love them both.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check both of those episodes out, by the way, if you haven't.
Please.
They're in our interviews section on YouTube. So yeah, Ludwig Kinberg played drums on the film version of this song, and then Hux Nettermom drummed on the studio version for Impera, which is still fucking great. More proggy, but
oh yeah, there's 2 different takes. You really can't compare them. You can compare the songs, but I feel like the drum performance you can't compare.
Yeah,
like 2 different arrangements. But it's cool to hear.
Yeah, and this one definitely has vibes all around. Honestly, like just spooky. Like it literally was written for a fucking horror movie. Like how can you go wrong putting this literally anywhere on the list.
And I think for me, part of why it's so much higher for me too is that I have strong memories of this song being associated with Halloween because, after an excruciating gap from Ghost of no content, no anything at all, this was our introduction to Ghost Return post-pandemic. And not to mention it leaked, a year before that it existed. And it came in around Halloween time, as we're getting into the spooky season, all the teasers of the video of everything and the live stream and all that just reminds me so much of that Halloween specifically. And of course, it being tied to the ultimate Halloween movie that it just, to me, it's so talks of headstones and, a spooky moon that happens usually in the fall time. It's a harvest moon, it's like all of this together just paints such a clear picture to me. I almost debated putting this higher than where I put it because it's so Halloween. Now, there's two categories I kind of have in my mind here. I think this is where we differ things sometimes in our approach. Is I have songs that are satanic in leaning and songs that are Halloween spooky leaning, but those can kind of intertwine, which is a good point. But I am also thinking I don't know. There's classic Halloween vibes and the more kind of Exorcist horror movie Halloween vibes, and both are different Halloween vibes. So it's you can think of it differently.
I think we're more on the same page than you think where that's concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I know so.
I wasn't sure if yours were going to be more just all the most satanic songs as the Halloween ones towards we get to. Cool. So I think we might have similar.
I mean, some of them are, yes, but then there's a couple where it's,
Cool. All
so
right.
What's your number 7?
My number 7. Which image?
It was on my list at one point. It was, and it's not anymore.
I get why.
Yeah.
I put it on there because it was just, it's one, the name, two, the lyricism, and there's just something about it that I just feel it's danceable. A great song that you can put on a Halloween party and dance to. I can just see people and all, I can almost imagine in a Netflix movie of a Halloween party scene.
Yeah.
Where the protagonist, there's a side plot happening and they're going to the town hall for a Halloween party, like Hocus Pocus, but those newer ones are what's that movie, Hubie Halloween, where it's a Halloween party, I think, in one part.
I fucking love that movie, by the way.
Yeah, it's so that's one of those movies that objectively I don't think is great, but it's really entertaining, and so I can't complain about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a modern day Ernest Scared Stupid, in my opinion. It's got that level of it's family horror, family comedy horror.
Absolutely. But I think there's a scene, if I remember correctly, where they're at a Halloween party, and I could just see people in costumes and everything dancing to that, or any of these, direct-to-DVD style Halloween movies. It's just while you sleep, and there's someone in an angel costume with wings dancing, and a comic devil, and Batman, and they're all dancing too. I can just see it in my head, and it works so well that I had to put it on there.
Yeah. So my number 7 is, now I don't know, I might get crucified for this one a little bit. I say crucified for it. It's a combo where it's rats, but I've included Ashes as the intro to it. So Ashes into Rats is my number 7 because I think
that's not on my list.
Yeah, I was going to say because Ashes is, dude, that the first time I ever heard it. You
can't listen to Rats without Ashes.
Correct. But the first time I ever heard Ashes, I was like, this is fucking frightening. And then of course, once the music kicks in and all the instrumentation is happening, and then it leads into Rats, it's okay, Rats is also danceable. I mean, it's been proven by Cardinal himself. Yeah. It's very danceable.
And the whole video.
Yeah, and lyrically speaking, dealing with literally the fucking plague. It's okay, that's kind of horrific, So I was thinking in terms of okay, this is apocalyptic levels of terror and horror and disease and grime and just certain death, but you don't know how quickly that death will come. So that was where my head was at whenever I was picking that song, because I knew I wanted it on here. It wasn't going to be very high, but it was going to be on here nonetheless.
It's got that spookiness for sure.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And I want to say that is because you've had 2 from Prequel so far.
Yeah, I didn't even realize I had that many from Prequel.
There's 2 from Prequel so far with you, and I think this was my only Prequel pick. In fact, yeah. If I would have included Witch Image, it would have been my second one, but this is my only one.
We're different. I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Me too.
I was worried we'd have the same thing, and I'm glad this gives more options.
Yeah, same here. I'm actually really now here is where I'm starting to get extremely curious because we're getting like starting to kind of creep into the front half here. Like we're on the last part of the back half is our number 6 picks.
What's your number 6?
My number 6 is Body and Blood, which I know might be a weird pick, but I feel like the opening lyric is just like that. You know what I mean? That's like this.
Yeah.
It's giving spooky vibes all the way around. The organ played a really big part in this for me, and so did like some of the sliding on the guitars, and it's the feel of this song is real, just spooky. I feel like it's some type of like zombie dance happening, like a real slow, like kind of creepy walk. Not anything out there, but. I don't know. This is one of those songs where it just feels right. You know what I mean? It was one of those like gut instinct where I was like, man, this fucking belongs here.
It's the graveyard vibe of it. Just like it feels like it's a song that I could picture in a graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
It was also my number 6.
Oh no,
we
shit!
Matched up there.
Hell yeah!
So that's one where we matched up perfectly on it.
I love that so much.
I agree with that. Yeah,
that's cool. I was wondering if we were gonna get one that actually like matched up.
Yep.
Let alone
there's our first one.
Cool.
Yep.
Excellent. What's your number 5, man?
My number 5 is Stand By Him.
Perfect. And granted, that one's not on my list. It was on my list. Again, like I've revamped this list a couple times. I thought I had it whenever we came up with this, like, oh yeah, I got my 10. And then I was like, no, I don't. So, this was on there, but I had other songs I chose for different reasons, but I see why it's on the list at all.
It's a spooky song. It's the Night of the Witch.
It is the Night of the Witch.
And like I said, I'm from Massachusetts, and now in Connecticut. And Connecticut had the first witch trials, and Massachusetts had the most iconic ones, the Salem witch trials. And we get real witchy around here.
Those witches, they come back and they were like, "Oh, we had the first witch trial," and then the other one's like, "Yeah, but ours was more iconic."
We need a turf war here between the states of who had the better witch trials. Especially because there was no witches. It's just really funny if it was just like, yeah, we were more abusive to women. No, we were more.
Jesus Christ!
Like, which one here has the fucking oppression Olympics?
We burned them harder. No, we burned them harder.
We were the one who had the first news.
You were the ones who were the ball lickers.
You guys. At least we had a gallows. You guys just had a tree.
Jesus Christ. Shit. I missed this. This is great.
I know.
That was 5, right? Okay. I was trying to make sure I didn't lose my place here.
Yep, that was 5.
Okay, my number 5 is Spirit.
Oh, I didn't put that on my list.
Oh man,
now I'm like, that's the perfect one to put on.
Oh man, that's that theremin.
You did.
That's that theremin, dude. And then it's just the waltz of it,
everything about it.
Oh, dude, that's
the
like
lyricism.
Spirit is Universal Monster territory for me. That's the vibe I get.
Also, I want to put this out here while we're talking about it. Papa 5 Perpetua is Universal Monster to me, and I've said that a bunch of times. The initial video of him in that like Rolling Stones thing where he like stumbles towards the camera, I was just like, oh yeah, I got it.
Absolutely,
that's the vibe I get. It's like Invisible Man.
Yeah, Papa 3 for me gives off like Victor Frankenstein kind of vibes, not the monster, but the scientist.
No, yeah, mm-hmm.
So like that's where I'm at with it. Spirit is like like I said, that theremin intro and the time signature on the drums. It's very marchy.
Someone's got to edit this over like a bunch of Universal Monster clips because I bet you it would fit so well.
Oh my god! If somebody out there has not done this yet, please do that. Oh my god!
Even like Nosferatu would be good too. Like I could just imagine like one of those old classic horror films.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Like a good one. I just thought of it. Here's an edit idea. The original Phantom of the Opera.
Oh please, yes.
The Lon Chaney Phantom of the Opera. I think that would be a really fitting.
Hell yeah,
mashup.
What a song, man! What a fucking song!
That's so good. It's one of my favorites in the entire catalog.
Yeah, I've mentioned several times where my spot with Meliora as an album always changes a lot, but I feel like the more as time passes, especially like when spooky season rolls around, it's like, man, you know what? Of all the records that they've done, we talked about this right at the top of this. Where it's like, hey man, we could have just chose Opus, we could have chosen Infestissima, we could have chosen Meliora, and just said, hey, like put them on there, and that's your list. Meliora is probably the best well-rounded album that they've got in terms of like the stuff that you wouldn't think.
I agree.
Yeah, it's that's a totally different discussion that you can check out on.
It is. For all our Meliora fans, we have a lot of episodes on Meliora. Actually, we have at least 2, right? We have the Papa 3 Meliora era costume one, talking about more visual aspects. We have the album review, and then the next you'll hear from us will be talking about Meliora music videos.
Yeah.
So if you're a Meliora fan with the anniversary, it's a great time to be a listener of our show.
That's right. And of course, we've already talked about, or at least, our number 4. I've talked about my number 4 being Death Knell.
Mindhunter's Moon.
Yeah. So we obviously don't need to discuss that one because we already did. So, what's your number 3?
Mine is Conclave Candio.
That's my number 2.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
This is getting interesting.
Yeah. So my 3 and my 2 kind of flip-flop back and forth before I finally settled on what they were going to be. So I love that.
Conclave Candio is just a perfect, I don't know, I feel like there's not even much you could say about it. Just listen to it and you'll see why it fits. Like, it's just the chaos of just eeriness and an overly satanic, worship with the Latin chanting and the, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, there's nothing. Yeah, it's great.
The most fuckable bass line of all time in Ghost catalog.
Yep, yeah, quite literally, yeah. Get that edit done, someone.
Yeah. We know you tricks out there. You're too good at what you do. So
your secret is not safe.
Your secret is no longer safe. We know all your tricks. My number 3 is another combo. It's Infestissima and Perispera. Like the back.
I don't have that on mine.
Yeah, okay. See, like that, the chanting, like the Gregorian chanting and the Latin chant, like all that, that, because you can, in my opinion, you cannot have one without the other. Now, the Skeletor would make you say, "Oh shit, you can't have spirit without going right into Perispera." But I do say, my good sir, that Infestissima. I do say, if I must say so myself, that
I must say so.
Infestissima going into Perispera ad inferi is quite possibly one of the best combinations out there in the Ghost catalog. So,
I concur.
Yeah, it's fucking great, man. Like, I don't know what else you say about these 2 songs. And actually, like both Conclave and Perispera, like it is 100% that swag, that swing, the evilness like floweth through you. That is quite literally a Star Wars "let the hate flow through you" kind of fucking moment there.
You just, I feel like you can't listen to this song without just wanting to scream, but I don't mean scream in the way of like pain. I just mean like, ah! It's just like something primal comes out when that just goes in. You're just like, you feel the music flow through, and you're just like, just like fucking shaking. Like every time, I just want to just like start throwing things and just fucking shit. It's like Limp Bizkit's break stuff. I just want to start throwing things.
Oh fuck
breaking shit. I just want to start throwing my arms. Throw punches.
Same.
On Halloween, I want to just start smashing pumpkins. Not like the band, but like just like stealing kids' candy. Just start like throwing in costumes.
Get Corganed, motherfucker.
Can you imagine a hypothetical situation where there's a gang and they all dress up like Billy Corgan and they all shave their head and wear like a priest.
They're driving. Yeah, they're riding away in their convertible down the street. Whee!
I know what that license plate number would be.
Oh shit. Where were we? Because my number 2 was your number 3. So I guess that leads in. What is your number 2?
Ritual.
Another one that's not on my list, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Reason being, it's just I think there's something so spooky about it for me. And it's also I'm getting into my Opus worship here.
Yeah.
I'm getting into my Opus worship, and I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I want to say I love that it's not on yours because every Ghost playlist has it. But I felt like I had to throw it in there just because I don't know. It has to be on every playlist I do because of the ending solo. Like selfishly, that's the reason. Like it just makes it. I think that ending solo to me is the most perfect guitar solo.
I was gonna say it's a good outro.
Yeah, but that solo, man, is I genuinely believe is one of the best solos of all time. Right after that last chorus, all the way through that little octave run, and the whole it's so good. It's how I test new guitars. Whenever I'm just testing new guitars, that's what I play. That's like every other their go-to riff. Pentatonic, whatever. Smoke in the Water. That's mine.
It's a good one though, man. That's like it is a quintessential Halloween song for Ghost for sure. And I think I only put like two. Yeah, I only put 2 songs from Opus on here, which again could have put the whole fucking album on here, but we didn't. This is where I'm very very curious. So we both have a number 1. Now, do we want to save all the honorable mentions for dead last, or do we want to go ahead and like throw those out there before we hit the number 1 spot?
Let's throw those last.
Okay.
Because I can't wait anymore.
All right. Okay. So my number 1 is Year Zero.
It's different.
I figured it would be.
Mine's Zombie Queen.
See, that was one of my honorables on that one. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, because it was on my list at one point too. So
we'll explain why. I'm so glad that we had different ones for most of these.
Yeah, me too. So, I mean, okay. I don't think I need to explain why Year Zero is at the top of this list. I mean, I think as we have discussed most of the tours, we've discussed most of these records, we've discussed, songs and all this other shit. So, off air also, no pun intended, after seeing Skeletor and seeing that Ritual was not a staple for every city, Year Zero has been a staple song on every tour since Infestissumam has come out. In my opinion, it is the quintessential Ghost song. It is the staple. It is the signature song of the band now at live shows. And especially on Halloween, I can't picture any playlist. It doesn't matter where you put it on the playlist. I can't picture a playlist that does not have Year Zero. It is literally the ultimate Hail Satan. It is very spooky. It's got chanting. It's got a very big chorus. It's got a it's got a really spooky outro piece, and it fades out, but it's got these weird soundscapes happening.
It's such a good outro, dude. I'm so sad that on Skeletor it's been cut.
Yeah,
I get why for like the way everything has to flow with the theatrical moment happening and everything, but it's like one of the things where I miss so much.
But it's great. I think another thing that put me over the top with this one being like especially so high, it was a highlight of Right Here Right Now with the with Haxan being the film being played behind it, which I love that film anyway. Actually, like
Me too.
It's funny that like I was one of the people in the theater, like when I've seen it in theater, my girlfriend was like, "Hey, what is that?" I was like, "Oh, this is an old fucking horror movie from like the 1920s or whatever the fuck." I was like, "It's old," and she was like, "Is it really that old?" I said, "Yeah, it's pretty fucking old," But I digress. It was a good visual, you know what I mean? It was a good visual, and it kind of put that in perspective. It's like, God, this really is a fucking horrifically spooky song, and I adore it. I used to say, God, why won't you play something else from this album live? And then they did play stuff from this album live. I was like, okay, now that I've had my fix of you doing that, I can appreciate this song much more now.
Absolutely.
It's definitely my number 1. It didn't start as my number 1 actually, but like I said, it made its way there, and it fought the top. My top 3 fought for the number 1 spot. A lot.
Well, I felt mine was Zombie Queen, and it was because I felt like I don't know if I have to explain it fully, but I'm going to because people will be curious. It's to me the name, Zombie Queen,
sure,
right? But also just there's such a spooky vibe to me that just it feels like old school. And when I talk old school Halloween, I mean like 50s Halloween.
Yeah.
That like old retro decorations and blow molds and all that stuff. It reminds me of that. A cool, crisp New England day with that very kind of mournful thing. But I also feel like it reminds me of like Corpse Bride. This is one of the songs where like I don't have a very vivid imagination most of the time, but I do in here. And I can imagine this scenario fully. Like I can imagine in my head a graveyard. And I think I can see like a Tim Burton-esque stop motion scape of, old graves and zombies and memories and nostalgia and all these topics and, just the smell of the dirt and the cold moon and, a zombie rising up. And I can even see a backstory I can see this being like a Tim Burton movie.
Sure.
And then it pulls into that full bombastic thing of just like, It's also just a great Halloween costume, like I can imagine it's a great Halloween costume,
Yeah.
like that reminds me of like before everything was intellectual properties and you could just come up with like a character. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's one of the things like weird tangent, but like Halloween now, it's like everyone's always an intellectual property. Like, oh, I'm going to dress from this movie or this show. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
But I also do miss the old days of like where it was just like, I'm going to be a cowboy. I'm going to be, a scarecrow. I'll be a robot. I'll be a zombie. I'll be a zombie queen. I'll be the, it's just like, it's like it's something that someone comes up with. And there's so much creativity of like coming up with, oh, what could I be? And it kind of reminds me of that in a way of just like, yeah, this like, I'll be this queen who was beautiful and ruled, but now is decaying. And I can imagine what that's like. And that to me is just, it feels every time I'm like, oh yeah, it's Halloween.
For sure. That makes so much sense. It's nostalgia driven, dude. Like, cause like for me, whenever I hear a zombie queen,
childhood Halloween.
Yeah. When I hear Goulet zombie queen, for me, it's like you mentioned, like 50s, but I think about like Nick at Night. I grew up like watching fucking Addams Family and the Munsters and shit like that, like the old television series. And that's what I think about. It's that surf rock feel, but it's that 50s, 60s surf rock, but it's spooky.
It's like the Munsters theme, It's like, and it's that feeling of like vintage stuff. And as I've gotten older, I love the gory modern Halloween and serial killers and all the crazy stuff that we do now. But I have this nostalgia to where I kind of remember just like, I remember dressing up as a scarecrow and going out with a pumpkin bag, and just the kind of more classic Halloween of ghosts and goblins in the night and pumpkins. And there's kind of a comfort in that, as opposed to, everything being blood and guts and asylums and everything, which I love because I love horror. But I'm also like, I've become much more like classic ghosts and stuff is something that kind of brings a comfort, nostalgia feeling to me of like, family Halloween.
I think that's a big reason I love the movie Halloween 3 Season of the Witch so much is because like the masks and the masks are very much like representative of that kind of feel where it's
Don
like
Post.
Yeah, dude. Like Don Post is such a goddamn legend. Man, like I love just the idea of a simplistic witch, a simplistic skeleton, a simplistic pumpkin. Just that is like
it's classic.
Yeah. And I honestly
vibrant colors too. I feel like are getting lost in Halloween. Like I vibrant colors can be spooky, and it brings this. There's this warmth to it, and this song has that warmth too.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Kind of why I relate it in my head. But it's like, I was at Dollar Tree the other day, and they have like, for Halloween display, it's like all retro Halloween stuff. And there's a house on my street who has like all old blow molds and like, the classic, like it's probably all a lot of vintage stuff. And it's just something about it is like, oh, there's such a warmth and comfort of like warm apple cider and, apple cider donuts and pumpkin pie and, candy and all of that. And it's nice. And so that's why gives me that vibe.
A Dollar Tree for the imbeciles. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude. I love that that's your number one pick, man. I love your list. It was really.
I love yours too. I'm glad they're so different. I was really worried they would be too similar.
Nah, I figured we would have a few that matched, just like or like we would pick some. Yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad like we had a couple that were legitimately flip flopped, and then one that tied up in the dead center. So I love that. So a couple of other honorable mentions that I do have on here. I have two of their covers and a hidden tracks or like a bonus track. So Phantom of the Opera and Enter Sandman were two of my honorables, which I think like they kind of speak for themselves as far as like lyrically. Like they're very spooky, but it's like okay, it would be typical to put, in my opinion, it would have been like very typical to like put those two on the list. However, the other one that I did almost include in my 10 was La Mancha Mori.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, so like at least for that one, I was like, well, these have to be, at least brought up in honorable mention area because they didn't quite make the cut, but they fucking almost did.
I have a couple. One is Waiting for the Night.
Oh, that's it's a good Depeche Mode cover.
It is, and I love that song originally. I actually would go as far as say that's one of my favorite Ghost covers in general. There's something just about the vocal delivery that works so well for me, and also just this how slow and like sludgy it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one I had on there. Another one, weird one. Here Comes the Sun was my other cover that I had.
Yeah, I can see that
because of the minor key and the organ and everything, and just how kind of creepy it sounds. I feel like it's just very. Almost comical, like, oh, we're going back to, old school Halloween, I
mean, and the way he flipped the song meaning on its head.
It fits so well of like, And the live performance was like the baby crying reminds me of like a haunted house sound effect and everything. And then the only other one I had that was an original was Square Hammer. And the reason being, I go after this again, Fright Fest, Six Flags Fright Fest. I go there a lot every year. It's like a Halloween tradition for me. And they always play that song too.
Yeah, it's hard to not have that one. It was a song that I was sitting there like, well, maybe honorable mention or whatever. But again,
it's never going on the list for me.
No, like that's something that like it's typical, it's expected. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So again, I'm glad that our stuff was very at least for me, some of it felt like, okay, I can see this being on the list, but I feel like the order and like some of the selections felt very not typical, basically.
And I want to, this is completely unrelated, but I was thinking about it while we were doing it. One that I left off was If You Have Ghosts.
I left that one off too.
I left it off my honorable mentions. I left it everything, but I did want to mention, like, while on the topic of that song, for those out there, if you're planning a Halloween party, put Rocky Erickson on your playlist.
Yep. Rocky has some great songs outside of that are just as
I don't talk about it enough, but he's one of my favorite artists of all time. And I while we're talking about Halloween and spooky season, I feel it important to mention. Go listen to Rocky Erickson, just because I feel like that's one of the greats that doesn't get enough appreciation. So, especially now is a good time to do it.
It's not even just If You Have Ghosts, like Creature with the Atom Brain, Night of the Vampire, I Walked with a Zombie, Two-Headed Dog. Like, there's a ton of shit that you can listen to.
Night for Alligators.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, man.
That whole album, I'm Evil, is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many good tracks on it. And it's one of my favorite records just in general for, like, everyday wear. But it's another one that I've thought of it because they play it at Fright Fest all the time. And it's a really great Halloween record that I think most people know If You Have Ghosts as Ghost fans, but our listeners might not know the other songs on it. And so if you're putting together a Halloween list, put that on there in his memory too.
Yeah. Rocky was a hell of a musician, man. I'm actually very curious to know if anybody out there is listening. When you feel up to leaving this in the comment section of either our Spotify or our YouTube, what are your top 10? And it don't even have to be ranked. You can just give us 10 of your ghost songs that you would include on your playlist for Halloween. Did we mention literally all 10 of yours? Did we collectively mention all 10? Like, was one of our lists exactly as yours? Did we pick the exact same songs? Let us know.
Yeah, leave your list. Let us know. Create your own list. Create your playlists. Let us know. Send us to us. Let us find out. Like, let's all enjoy what this spooky season.
This is my favorite time of the year, and it's not even over. Too. It's not even over for me in October. Like, this shit rolls because there's like
November.
November is like second Halloween. It's kind of like second breakfast with Lord of the Rings. It's second Halloween.
There you go.
Yeah,
and Thanksgiving is a very Halloween-esque holiday. So it's
and I also
in so many ways,
and I also love a lot of Christmas horror as well. So like that's.
It can keep going on. I mean, what Christmas, a Christmas Carol, what's in it? Fucking ghosts.
Yeah, exactly.
But also just like, not even just that, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of ghost stories take place around Christmas time.
Yep.
It's a very common trope.
Next time we come back, it's like, hey guys, what are the 10 scariest ghost songs to play during the Christmas holidays?
It's like, how do you piss off your Christian family at Christmas time? Number one.
I do say.
There should be a Christmas episode like most satanic ghost songs. How to start a fight at your next Christmas. There's songs about Trump. It's like,
no shit. Damn it.
This one's about Mike Pence. What do you think about that, Grandpa?
How many times do I have to tell you, old man? Ah, man.
How to ruin a Christmas party immediately. Who did you vote for?
How to Ruin a Christmas Party Volume 1. Here's a playlist from GonstFM All
That's what we'll do. Yep. If you want that, let us know.
And we'll send it to you personally.
Yeah.
Just
do it in voice notes in your messages. We'll just both call you.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Come back next time. We will be getting right back into our Witch Images series, in which we explore the music videos of the band Ghost, and where we last left off was the ass end of the Infestissima music videos, and we are moving right along into Meliora, so please come back and check that out. And if you want to get caught up on that series, you can literally go to our YouTube channel, where all of our in-show series are listed in their own categories, and you can listen to them from start to finish if you want to catch up with any of the series that we've done. For past, present, and future episodes of GonstFM Off Air, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. You can leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave us a rating or leave comments on individual episodes on Spotify. And if you're listening to this episode on our YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the bell for notifications for future episodes, leaving a like on this video, or leaving a comment down below. Any engagement helps. If you would like to come to a future GonstFM Station Head radio ritual, if you'd like to join the official Facebook groups GonstFam or Ghost Cosplay, or if you'd like to follow us on any of our social media handles, all of this can be found in our Linktree link in the show notes below. And so, our dearest Gonslings, that brings this week's episode to a close. Some of you we will see in Internet Land, and the rest of you we will see in Ghost Cosplay or GonstFam. Take care of yourselves out there. And remember, until next time, in Gonst, we Tronst. I'm Papa X.
And I'm Uncle Ghoul.
And we'll catch you next time.